Tonight, we journey back in time, deep into a chronicle forged in the very fires of war and faith. We're going to explore the legend of a sacred warrior amulet, an icon known as Phra Tha Kradan. You know, right from the get-go, this was clearly no ordinary relic. It was given a title of immense power and respect, a name that still echoes through the centuries, the warlord of the Mae Klong River. And let me tell you, that's not just some fancy nickname. It was a testament, a title earned through blood, sweat, and fire on the brutal battlefields of ancient Siam. So to really get the story of this warlord, you have to understand where it came from. We're talking about a land, a realm defined not by peace, but by the endless, constant clash of swords. Take a look at this. This is Kanchanaburi. Now, when you look at it today, you see these serene rivers, the majestic mountains. It's beautiful, right? But for centuries, this stunning landscape was something else entirely. It was a land of constant conflict, a frontier province with a long, turbulent history literally written in blood and bravery. You see, its location was its destiny. It was right there on the border with the incredibly formidable Burmese kingdom. That meant Kanchanaburi became the main shield for the entire Ayutthaya kingdom. It was the first wall, the gatehouse that absolutely had to stand firm against wave after wave of invasion. And just try to imagine the sheer scale of this conflict. I mean, we're not talking about a little skirmish here or even a single war. This was a state of relentless generational warfare. For hundreds of years, soldiers marched through these lands facing just overwhelming odds. In times like that, so desperate, you need more than just a sharp sword. You need hope, a powerful symbol of protection. You need a vessel for divine intervention. And it was from this very crucible of conflict that a legend was born. Not in some grand royal palace, no, but deep in the mystical caves of the wilderness, forged by a power that was truly beyond the ordinary. The old chronicles, they don't talk about a team of monks or some royal craftsmen. No, they speak of one single powerful figure, Re Sita Phai, the hermit of the fire eye. This was a master ascetic, a hermit with immense supernatural abilities who meditated in the deepest caves of the land. They say he could command the very elements themselves, and that gives this amulet an aura of raw, primal power right from its very creation. And just look at its design. The art itself tells you everything you need to know. It was crafted in the Yutong style, which is known for these formidable, stern, almost intimidating features. You see that gaze, that powerful jawline? This was never meant to be some serene, peaceful religious icon. Oh no. This was designed to be the face of a warrior, a visage meant to instill courage in your friends and strike absolute fear into the hearts of your enemies. The creation process itself, well, it was a sacred ritual. They didn't go looking for fancy imported metals. They used the very earth of Kanchanaburi itself, a raw lead ore they called Takwa Tuan. This ore was then smelted in ancient kilns deep within these hallowed caves. And then came the final, most crucial step. Legend says Rusi Tafai himself breathed life and power into each one with sacred incantations, transforming humble lead into a vessel of, well, profound spiritual energy. So the purpose of this amulet was singular, crystal clear, protection. And the stories of its power, what they call its putakun, well, those stories would soon become the stuff of absolute legend. Now, I know what she might be thinking. It's easy to just dismiss these as, folklore, tall tales from a bygone era. But what if I told you the accounts of its power didn't stop in ancient times? What if they've continued right into our modern world?
See, its sacred power is really defined by two core pillars. The first is called Kong Krapan Chatri. Think of it as invulnerability, the idea that blades and weapons just can't pierce your skin. And the second pillar is Kleoklat. This is more about evasion, about miraculously escaping harm. Being in just the right place at the right time to avoid something that should have been fatal.
And like I said, this isn't just ancient history. Listen to this, a documented modern account. There was a well-known man in the region, Ajarn Krong Si Sawat. He was ambushed. An assassin fired a shotgun point blank directly at his head. He dropped to the ground. Everyone, of course, assumed the worst. But when they rushed over to him, he was completely unharmed. Not a single wound, not a scratch, not one drop of blood. And the one thing he was wearing? A Phra Tha Kradan amulet. So after all that, after generations and generations of war, an era of relative peace finally arrived. The warlord's duty on the battlefield,
it was done. But its story, its journey, oh, that was far from over. With their primary purpose fulfilled, the remaining amulets weren't just tossed aside or forgotten. No, they were gathered up and with great ceremony placed inside sealed crypts within Buddhist stupas, these towering chetties. And there, in the sacred darkness, they were laid to rest, disappearing completely from the world for centuries to come. But in that long, quiet slumber, something truly beautiful happened. The slow, patient alchemy of time, of temperature, of humidity, it all worked its magic on the lead. And this wasn't decay, it was a transformation. A unique, gorgeous crimson patina, what they call sanyamdang, or red rust, began to bloom across their surface. This beautiful rust became the amulet's signature, a physical testament to its ancient lineage. It was the mark of history, made visible for all to see. So for hundreds and hundreds of years, the warlord slept. Its story slowly faded, turning into myth. And then, in the 20th century, the legend was dramatically, suddenly, brought back into the light. The year is 1952. The world is racing forward, looking to the future, to space, to new technology. But in Thailand, a team of archaeologists was about to uncover a profound link to its most distant past. They unearthed these sealed crypts at 3 ancient ruined temples, right there in the Sawat District of Kanchanaburi. And inside, the long-forgotten treasures lay waiting. This incredible discovery is why today they're famously known by the name of their resting place, Phra Tha Kradan, from the Sri Sawat crypt. After centuries of silence, the warlord had reawakened. So, what does it all mean? What is the legacy of this amulet today? Well, it's so much more than just a historical artifact. It's a symbol that truly carries the soul of a nation. And just look at this. You have 2 incredibly powerful symbols, side by side. On one side, the official seal of Kanchanaburi Province, with the 3 ancient chedis that define its history. And on the other, the amulet that was born from that very history, from that struggle. You see, the history of the land and the faith of the ancestors, they aren't 2 different stories. They are one and the same, totally intertwined, completely inseparable. And really, that's the ultimate takeaway here. This thing began its life as a practical tool for survival, a talisman clutched in the hand of a soldier facing almost certain death. But today, its incredible journey has transformed it into something else entirely. It's a priceless piece of national cultural heritage, a work of art, an object of profound faith, and a direct, tangible link to the epic history of the kingdom. It stands today as a profound reminder, a reminder that some things aren't just made of metal. They are forged from the faith of a people, a heritage born from the very land it was created to protect, and destined to reside with that earth for all eternity.